Good morning, traders. Are you guys ready to get back into the trading action? You guys know where you're at. Live trading with Benzinga. And boy, do we got a nice surprise for you guys. You might see it at the top here. Trade the pool coming in with live trading. Hey, stay tuned. I got a special surprise to announce. Let's get into the action. Live trading with Benzinga.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, traders, let's get to the trading action. I'm excited to go ahead and take a look into the market. Of course, I'll be joined by Lord Ryan Faloona in just a bit, but I got my man Nick Brown in the room right now. We'll definitely get to the action. Of course, news by Nick. If you guys want to check out any stock news today, please let us know in the chat. We'll definitely get after it. Let's first take a look into the market. Then we'll get Ryan on in here and we'll do a little weekend talk, but let's get right to the market and see what's going on right now. I'll give you guys the outlook on my swing trades. I do have 3 trades on. I went from 0 to 3 on Friday. So let's talk a little bit about what I did and why I went after it. So I was talking about how the Qs were a little bit oversold on Friday, and we were getting to that historical oversold. And I talk about this all the time. It's about historical reference to me. So I'm always looking at RSI, not necessarily as the classic 80-20, but where does this stock or the Qs, for instance, turn around classically? So you see these expansion moves down. These expansion moves are where RSI gets extreme. To me, that's starting towards the 19. So now that we got this bounce, we need to see what happens today. Do we make our way to the 9 EMA, or do we come right back down towards the lows? If we do go back towards the lows, you got to be careful because we're back in extreme and we could go lower. Now, we did start calling a little bit of a bounce trade and start looking for these to kind of get the stocks to bounce. Now, I just got to keep watch to see if some of the strength can continue in this bounce. So what did I go after on Friday? I went after Deere off of its good report that has a bullish golfing the golden cross here, and then now has pulled back. I'm going to look for it to try to find some buyers today, get back above 400. We'll see what happens there on Deere. I have 397.47. We'll see what happens on that one. American Airlines is another one that I went after. A nice little long trend line pullback. After that bounce, I'll take my shot. Let's see if this can get back to 1550s today, and then start making its way back to 16. That'll be my first profit, back to 16. And then I'll look for this to actually run back towards 18 and eventually 19. We'll see what happens on this outlook. That's American Airlines, and you guys can look for other airlines. If you see one thing that's in common with these two positions is that they're in the industrial sector. So that's one area that I expect to get the lift. So another thing that you guys can be looking at is maybe XLI today. So that's what I will be watching to see if this can get the bounce and start making its way back. Stocks like Boeing are in the industrial space, right? Keep your eyes on that. Lockheed Martin is one that I'm kind of watching today. I did see some news out there, and I wonder if even Nick caught this one. I always love to test my man, Nick. But one thing that was really interesting was the U.S. approved sales of 22 HIMARS missile systems, right? And so it looks like this was a sale to Australia for 975 million. And there's a couple of different weapons that were included on this. But one thing that I'm clearly seeing is what? The U.S. more than willing to sell weapons right now. And so if that's going to continue to happen, will we see these stocks, these defensive names, take another lift? That's one thing that I'll keep an eye out for. Because if they're going to keep selling things, hey, you know how it is with government contracts. They can easily come in and maybe turn this around. So maybe RTX comes back and fills the gap. That's another thing that I can keep in mind, because now you have at least a nice little risk spot. A couple of bottoms to go off of over the 84.50s. We'll see what happens on these plays. Like always, keep up with it, team. We'll see if I can find a lift there in the defensive names. Last one I have is a wood play, guys. I'm going after a lumber and wood production company. WFG, I have a starter position on this one at 76.88. Going to watch to see if this can start making its way back there to 80 and 85s. We'll see what happens. This is the lumber play. And this is more based on, of course, you guys see like wildfires, things like that. I think that causes for the long run to see lumber get a spike. We'll see what happens there. All right, that's going to be my swing trade outlook. We can take a look at the market, and Ryan will be with us shortly. He's just having a little bit of some camera issues, but should be with us in a little bit here. SPY pulling back a little bit now. We'll look to see if this can get the bounce today. And of course, if you guys have any stock in the chat, I don't mind going through them. Want to catch up with some familiar faces in the chat. It's always good to see you guys out there. And if you're new to the show, say hello. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get to the action. I see Beach Bum in the chat. Steve, what's going on out there? Walter, Smoke Tuna, Paul C, Steve Canyon in the house. Nick Brown, of course, you know, man. Jenny, SS Trades. It's always good to see you guys out there. Jay, hey, if you're new to the stream, say hello. We'll definitely get through some of the stocks that you guys want to take a look at. So throw up those tickers now, and we'll keep running through them. Nick, how we doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well. How was your weekend?
I'm doing great. My weekend was good. It involved a lot of baseball on Sunday, so I'm a little tired on Mondays. But hey, what can we do? We can be weekend warriors, baby.
Yes.
And now we got to be the weekday warriors. So let's keep going. Let's keep battling. I always say Mondays are usually a really good day because we get a new opportunity, new week, right? So let's get after it this week. Let's see if we can get into the green. Can take a look at some of the names mentioned in the chat here. I'm seeing Tesla mentioned here. And it's good to see you, Maximus. I see you out there, man. Tesla, let's take a look there.
I was going to say, Mitch, regarding Tesla, Tesla's been down, I believe, the past 10 out of the 11 days.
Ooh. What's going on there, man? It looks like Tesla's been struggling this morning. I was looking for news, but is there any news why it's getting that little pop there?
There was news earlier or late last night regarding a data breach. They were talking about this data breach that happened back in May. You know, you would think that the stock and that news would already be priced in, but not so much. But last night we got some news regarding a data breach. The Tesla data breach blamed on insider wrongdoing impacted like 75,000 people. Tesla's May data breach included employee-related records. Tesla says 2 former employees shared info with Handelsblatt. That's the company over in Germany in the Europe area. And so, you know, Tesla has been on this tear. You could see on that chart, it rose significantly. But now it's pulling back, and now there's some worries regarding the Magnificent Seven, everything going on with tech. We have Nvidia that's reporting this week, and we'll talk about that coming up in the show. But, you know, I posted a chart last week of the Magnificent Seven, and mostly they were negative. There was maybe 2 or 3 up days, and, you know, that just goes to show that the market is coming back. People are trying to be diversified. They're trying to explore new opportunities. You know, we have Fed Powell we have Chair Powell Wednesday. And there's Ryan. Oh, Ryan, we like that shot.
Look who's in the house. I'm sorry, guys. I was looking at something in the background.
Yeah, that was one of like the most awkward intros. I'm glad to see everyone, but try to not have such an awkward intro the next time I show up. Good morning, everybody. I am live at the HQ. So
what's up, Ryan? It's good to see you. It's good to see you, my friend, in the HQ. Definitely getting started there. I was looking at something in the background, as you guys can tell. Just looking at some trade action today and looking at what I'm going to be able to get for us. So Ryan, I know that you're getting your charts up now. We'll take a look at your outlook, of course. You're in the HQ, so you'll probably be taking it a little bit easier today, but let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the markets.
All right, sounds good. On SPY, we're going to start with SPY here. Remember, my whole thing is that I think we're really going to trade into this area that we have here. Now we're bouncing. I'm not surprised to see that. A bounce on the way down here seems totally normal. We'll see what happens this week. We got a lot of stuff this week, including Nvidia earnings on Thursday. So that's really going to drive what's going to happen.
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed your news update. I'm a little bit slower because I'm in the office.
It's okay.
Here,
I didn't even get to NVIDIA earnings yet, but those report
Okay.
Wednesday after the bell. That's the big catalyst this week.
Yeah, and so that's going to be the big thing that I'm kind of waiting for this week in terms of what to kind of expect. Let me turn my watermark back on here. But I wouldn't be shocked if we kind of just bounce around here. I still expect SPY to go lower, so we'll see when we end up getting that sell-off. Today, I know it's a little bit of strength. And we do have some names here, so let's talk about them. Some smaller names here, Nick, and then I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you. So first one here is going to be Timber. Now, what's interesting is that this one looks like an acquisition, but there's still some movement here. So if I actually, let me see what the news catalyst is that pops up here. Let me see if I can find the actual news article. This one's saying Timber Pharmaceuticals has agreed to be acquired by Leo Pharma for up to $36 million, including an initial upfront consideration and additional and contingent value rights. So looks like an acquisition, but the stock's moving around here a little bit in the pre-market. I'm going to say this: I'm not necessarily going to trade it because I don't really know where this should go. I mean, we'll watch it and see. Maybe we'll get some technical setups for it, but with an acquisition like this, I think we'll be able to find some better targets here. And one of those better targets might be this TIRX. I actually feel like we've traded this before. This is some Chinese name. I'm not even really sure what they do. The ticker is familiar. However, we did carve up a range about to 184 here. Let me go ahead and add VWAP to my chart here. Again, sorry. All right, so we did trade up to 184. We've really started to break down. We're about 30 cents away, about 28 cents, 27 cents away from the VWAP. So on any type of technical bounce, if we get some volume flow in here, there might be a trade to go back to VWAP. We'll see if we can go to and through. Next one on the list here is going to be ELIQ. Now, I don't think I've traded this one before. We did pop a little bit here. We ran right up against 230. Was there news on this one? No. Okay. So didn't see any news in this. News from last week, but nothing fresh here this week. Looks like this is trying to break down. I would say if this does break down, I'm just going to kind of hold it or just kind of not trade it, look for something else. If we're able to hold here, again, maybe another move to the VWAP and then maybe a little bit higher through the highs if we can get up there. Our good old friend GRR is back. So we love this name. We love saying this name, GRRR. This popped as high as what, 189 it looks like. I didn't see, let me see if there's a new newsprint in here. Yep. Gorilla Technology Group's completing a contract signing and commences project to provide 5G telecom and network investigation solution to a major Taiwanese law enforcement agency. So decent PR there on GRR. We are popping here. We'll see if this one goes. We've actually traded this one before. We know how this one trades. It'd be short-term trades on this, but building right above the VWAP. Would love to see this take out the high and then maybe go for the round number there at 2. Another one here that we're experienced with is GNS. We're trading up here in the pre-market. You can see on Friday, we actually had a really good day on GNS, got a nice little trade there, and then really kind of held the rest of the day. Let's see if we take the next leg up and move through the 150 level. That would be the spot of interest on GNS. And then, of course, TUP. So this was a huge winner for us. It's really kind of broken down, but maybe it looks like we're up off the bottom and maybe we can break out and make a move towards 3 and then perhaps 350. So those would be the 2 spots on TUP. XPEV, we actually did have some news here this morning on XPEV. This is popping here in the pre-market. We'll see if this can get above that $16 level. They're trading higher after Bank of America upgraded the stock from neutral to buy and raised the price target from $16.30 to $22. So rating increase and price target increase, definitely bullish for the stock there. Easy for me to say. Worth noting real quick, on the other side of this, we actually had Nikola make some news here this morning. Nikola's trading down here. We'll see what happens. I mean, nobody should be surprised that Nikola's trading down. It did go, obviously we had a nice little run not long ago, but we've really started to break down here. They have a debt offering. All right, $325 million debt offering. So that's what the new news is here today. We'll see if Nikola firms up. For me, I think we got enough here on the actual gappers list to the upside to take advantage of that. The one other thing is, as we kind of already talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA was wild all week. I think that if you're trading options or if you're looking for something that's got volatility, I think NVIDIA all the way up to and even through the earnings print is going to be volatile. So use your own risk parameters here. I'm still in NVDS. I'm still in the short ETF. We'll see how that pans out over the course of this week. I went from being green on that trade to being red on that trade. we'll see how we end up trading that here. But just a couple of things there. Nick, what do you got for us? What do you want me? I'll go ahead and drive if you want me to roll through some tickers here.
I was going to say, if you could throw up a chart of Palo Alto Networks, PANW. Remember, they reported
PANW,
earnings
yep.
Friday after the close. Those earnings actually came in better than expected. EPS $1.44, estimates for $1.28. Revenue $2 billion, estimates for $1.96 billion. Billings growth plus 18%, estimates for 18.6%, basically in the ballpark range. They see 2024 revenue $8.15 billion to $8.2 billion, estimates for $8.3 billion, so slightly below expectations. And they see Q1 adjusted EPS $1.15 to $1.17. Now, they reported Friday after the close. They hosted a 2-hour conference call. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say, this surprised me, Nick, because we even talked about it ahead of that report. Normally on Friday when they do that, it's like they want to release some bad news when nobody really cares. 2-hour conference call. Did you listen to it? What happened on that call?
I did not listen to it, but I grabbed the highlights just going through the transcript.
Good for you.
Yes, I was going to say there's no way I'm listening to a conference call on a Friday. So
that was my thought. That was my exact thought.
So let's dive into the details because there was some explanation around this. So CEO of Palo Alto, Nikisha Arora, addressed the timing of the release on the company's call. He says, quote, "It's made for some very interesting reading in analyst reports over the past 2 weeks." He goes on to say, quote, "We apologize to people who are inconvenienced." He added that the company was caught in between a few events. Palo Alto had a board meeting this week and had a conference that kicked off on Sunday and wanted to get the numbers out before all those people got together. He said, quote, "Sorry to drag you out on a Friday, but I think it's important for a few thousand people next week that we shared all these results with them." Now, over the weekend, I was trying to go through the analyst notes, get some reaction. And so Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities published a note this morning basically talking about how this company was. And in the note, he kind of drilled down on the results, but just he issued a note Sunday morning, just basically a quick take on the stock. And he says, while suspense built up to this call, Palo Alto was able to put together confident guidance in this murky backdrop while also giving formal updates on its medium-term view on the sector. They say that overall they believe Palo Alto is still very well positioned, and they expect to see considerable strength in innovating its portfolio while also seeing major expansions occur within its install base as more enterprises move to the cloud. So, this report was good. It was a little sketchy on a Friday afternoon. Remember, he called it a head scratcher. This was a PR disaster, he said. And overall, it turned out that the quarter was very good.
I was going to say PanW doing what PanW does, man. They always seem to report well, even if they schedule it on Friday. I do like the explanation by the CEO. I actually like that he kind of made a joke about it. That it seems good. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. This potential gap and go trade here today. So we'll take a look at that. These are pretty expensive options. We'll see, but this might actually just run right out of the open here on PanW.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, just because I don't remember the last time seeing the stock up 12% In the meantime, Ryan, if you could throw up a chart of GM, this is their subsidiary Cruise. They will reduce its robo-taxi fleet by 50% in San Francisco, the California Department of Motor Vehicles told CNBC. Quote, "The DMV is in contact with Cruise and law enforcement officials to determine the facts and asked Cruise to immediately reduce its active fleet of operating vehicles by 50% until the investigation is complete and Cruise takes appropriate corrective actions to improve road safety," end quote. Cruise's fleet was involved in several accidents over the past week, so just watch shares of GM. Also, we have a strike possibly happening with Ford, GM, Stellantis. The UAW CEO, Sean Fain, he made some comments over the weekend, basically reiterating what he has been saying, that they're not going to take crap. He basically threw the Stellantis contract in the garbage a few weeks ago. So just watch GM and regarding Cruise, and then with the strikes.
Okay.
If you could throw up a chart of Meta. The Wall Street Journal reported last night, Meta Platforms is planning to launch a web version of the micro-blogging app Threads early this week. That's the biggest new feature to be introduced on its competitor to Elon Musk's X. That's according to the Journal. Adam Mosseri, head of Instagram, said on Friday on his Instagram profile that the web version of Threads would be launching soon, and it's already being tested internally at Meta. People familiar with Meta's plans say it will launch early this week, although the launch plans aren't final and could change. In the Journal, they quoted him basically saying that these Threads, the web app, is currently going under, it's laggy, so they're going to try and fix some performances before they launch it. Now, time spent on Threads app is down about 85% more than a month after its launch, according to SimilarWeb. That's a digital data platform and analytics firm. At its peak, Threads had nearly 50 million daily active users, and as of Sunday, per the SimilarWeb, the number has dropped to less than 10 million a day. I'm on Threads, really don't use it that much. It's very hard to use it on a phone, waiting for the web app to launch. And quickly, before we open, Ryan, if you could throw up a chart of Goldman Sachs, GS. Goldman Sachs is exploring a sell of the investment advisory business it acquired about 4 years ago. That's according to the Financial Times. The Wall Street firm said on Monday it was currently evaluating alternatives for its personal financial management business, which encompasses Goldman Sachs's registered investment advisor operations and supervises about $29 billion in assets. And we are open.
We are open. Oh, look at this. The last chart that I had here was Mullen. How about that? That was a long time ago, folks.
I saw someone's comment, Threads suck.
Jay. I was just going to say, Jay Rice just was summarizing it very succinctly for us. So I just wanted to highlight that here just because the brevity was really the awesome part of that. So way to go, Jay. Good morning, Richard. The question from Becca. Becca, good morning. Nick, any update on the Hawaiian Electric news on your end? I actually didn't see any new news on that. I did see HE was actually down about 3% here today. So I was wondering if you had any news on that.
No, the only thing that we got from them, that was regarding Friday, that they said that the company is not going to, its goal is not to restructure. That's the latest update we have. Nothing really much more to add, but I don't know if you saw, Ryan, Hillary, the tropical storm or hurricane over in California area over the weekend and actually hitting now.
Actually I did. One of my friends that actually lives in Arizona was saying the weather was pretty crazy there. Becca, I know you're in Arizona. I bet the weather's pretty nuts there, huh? Timber here trying to go higher, by the way, TMBR. I've got the high print here at 309, so we'll see if it breaks that. 328, your high of the pre-market. A little bit of stock for sale up here. There's 310. There's some size there. They tried to take it that first time, couldn't get it. We'll see if they go back through on 310 on timber. TMBR here. This is what I'm watching for a break to the upside.
Some buying coming into AMD right now. That's one that I'm watching for maybe a buy here. I see it already coming in around the 106.50 area, and I can see it maybe pulling back to 106. That's why I haven't jumped in just yet, but I think AMD is going to have a decent day, especially if Nvidia can have a decent day. Just pulled back here towards a nice little trend line. I'll show you guys that from the morning. You see this trend line? It pulled right to it and then bounced like right up right there. So I don't know if we even get back to that 106. Now it's holding that 106.50s, going up there to the 106.90s. This was one of my top plays that I mentioned on pre-market prep, as I thought that, as long as the Nvidia could do good today, AMD could also lift off. So nice little push here in the 107s. With that being said, we can look at SoxL and we can also look at technology overall. You're seeing technology lift today. I'm going to keep watch on that. Energy and technology. If they can still lead, those are two plays that we can definitely look for some upside action.
And real quick, I took Timber went there. Timber broke through that 310. I took that off. I didn't want to interrupt Mitch here. We're a little slow here. So Timber on that big push there, took that off. We'll see if this sets up again. Looks like it's trying to move through 310. Real quick here, Jay Rice saying that my friend is full of shit. The weather's not crazy. It's just a bit cooler. Becca saying it got pretty windy last night, but personally, I haven't seen any rain yet. Just a lot of overcast. Maybe that'll keep the temperatures down. But yeah, no, I did interesting stuff to see what's going on there. Timber coming back in here, by the way.
I was going to say, I think schools, there's some areas in California that they canceled classes for the first day. Becca, I don't know if that affects you, but, if you're enjoying an extra day off for a hurricane, take at it. Enjoy.
Enjoy it, says Nick Brown. You know it.
Top, by the way, so I'm a little bit late to this. Top really busting through the top end of the Bollinger Band there, looking like it's going to set up at 3 here. See what happens.
Not this
again. Round number. Yeah. No, Tupperware's back, Nick. Tupperware's back.
They got to go back to school on Friday. I'm not worrying about Tupperware.
Tupperware actually printed 303 at the high there, pulled back a little bit. I'm a little late to that. I'm not going to chase that. Smoke Tuna looking at EMPH. Took some EMPH for a short-term bounce to 130. Let's take a look at that trade, Smoke Tuna. Solar might be tough with interest rates being this high, but I love the idea of the bounce. Okay, so it looks like you're trying to do a bounce off of 130 here.
Whew. AMD now 107.50s. So that's a really nice candle on the 5-minute. Really nice. Probably top move of the day right there. Look at that nice AMD push.
Yeah, Candyman, that's kind of what I was saying out of the gate here. I wasn't sure what to make of Timber or the news. I just kind of traded the momentum that I saw there. Definitely saw a seller at 310 that they were trying to take out. They did take it out. I took the trade off there. But yeah, I don't know where this one goes. And like I said, if you get any type of gains in this, you're better off taking them. Don't even wait for that to turn into a monster, especially with the buyout news there. How's GNS doing? GNS ripping here too. A little late on that. GNS spot of interest here, 150 on GNS. Let me actually pull that up on my broker here. So it was weird rocking with two with a different computer. We'll see if GNS gets rolling here. Pan W, let's see if that gap and go trade worked at all. Pan W is still trading up here, actually staying outside the upper band of the Bollinger Band too. So more strength here on Pan W. This moving to the highs. Let me take a look at Pan W. 241. Maybe just try all right, trying a little Pan W equity here. I got 240.90. I don't have a whole lot. I just want to see if we can keep pushing up here. Feeling a little heavy. There we go. Pan W looks like it wants a little bit more. This is just kind of a futz around trade, so I don't even have a whole lot of it.
Sometimes you need one of those on Monday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just get a little. I already got some from Timber, but I'd like to get a little green on the screen here.
It's nothing wrong with getting some lunch when you're out on the road, baby.
Oh man, I got to do that. It did not play very well in golf, so I got to earn back some of the money I lost. So we'll do that here too.
There you
Pan
go,
W,
my friend.
Pan W pushing higher here. We'll see.
How's the weather there in Detroit?
It's actually gorgeous, man. It's actually really, really beautiful here today. Yeah.
I was going to say, hey guys, throw up a chart on Nvidia. Shares are higher by like 3.7% at last check, maybe 4% now. HSBC hikes their price target.
Pan W took some of my gains there.
Nvidia goes to HSBC goes to 780 for their price target. That's the second highest on Wall Street. Rosenblatt's the highest with an 800 price target.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So I'm still in NVDS. Let's see how that is doing here. Look at my broker. So NVDS. So remember, I didn't have a whole lot. I'm down on it, but I'm actually down in unrealized losses, $35. So even given the gap move here today, because I had some profit built up, I'm really not even down a whole lot. If this really just kind of runs into the print this week, I'm going to be very tempted to hang on to it because we've seen stocks that run into the print are often the ones that pull back. Now, a lot of that's going to depend on where the price of NVDS is. But yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly worried right now, especially going 2 for 2 on some of these smaller day trades here. And Jay Rice saying, why not throw a $2,000 price target on it? AI is all the rage. It could go to $2,000. Stocks can be whatever they want here. Pan W, by the way, more highs here. Maybe I should not have sold that so early. Pan W ripping. See if I can see. There are some penny plays here on the scanner. SLNA might go if it can start to push away here. TUP might be Ooh, excuse me. Top might be trying to break that 3 handle to the upside here. Top had calls. Says SS Trades. I missed those calls late last week, but that would actually explain it. LQR you're taking a look at? Yeah, LQR maybe. Maybe that comes up off the bottom. I'd like some more volume there. Still looking at top here. I feel like this tries to move through 3. Question is, do they yank it if they pop right through 3? That's possible too. Check GER here. GER's first move was down. Maybe this actually makes a move back towards the VWAP.
All right, guys, seeing Nvidia go higher, and that tells me what? AMD, baby. I'm looking at it. It's back at VWAP. Just bounced around the 107. Let me see if it can go one more time to 107. I'll start.
Top did move through that 3, by the way, 308, as high as 308 here. So top continuing to move up there. I was not in it. I didn't hit that one.
All right.
But I'd be interested in top if this could pull back here. Really, really strong right now. Tesla strong out of the gate here. Apple bouncing after first move was down. So that's looking pretty good. PanW still strong. Should not have given that up. Should have just stayed in that. Man.
It's all good, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking maybe if it pulls back, it could reload some though. That's the thing. You're GNS, huh, Wiss? Yeah, GNS. Yeah, that's Wiss. You're right, and that 150 move is really what we want to see here on GNS too. Yeah, 150 is that pre-market high. Looks like 145 stopping it so far, but you might be onto something here, Wiss. I might try some GNS here.
All right.
I'm gonna start small though, just in case. I don't want to ruin the gains that I've built yet or so far here today. But I like this. I think if this moves through 145, it challenges 150, and I think if it goes through 150, you probably pop an exit right there. We'll see though. I'll let you guys know what happens on this. Good eye, Wiss.
I was going to say, during this show on Friday, Chair Powell will be delivering a speech from Jackson Hole. It's also important to note that ECB President Lagarde will also be giving a luncheon address at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. And then this conference is going to be rolling over to the weekend. And so 2 or 3 other central bankers are likely to speak at the conference on Saturday. So I'm not going to Jackson Hole. Not sure if Ryan or Mitch was planning to go to report live from there.
I'm not. I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to go out west and see some mountains, maybe golf in the mountains. But no, I'm not going, unfortunately. GER is starting, you were saying? I'm going to keep my eyes on the trade. I'm going to keep my eyes on the trade that I'm in, but I'll bring up GER here on the screen for us. Just got to be able to get out of this. You're right, Jay Wild. So this is exactly what we did, right? We moved through that VWAP. As soon as it busted through it, it gave you a pop. That was the trade right there. You got the volume expansion we needed. Let's see if this pushes here some more. Good spot there. Lynn and Randy, good morning. Guys are watching ACHR. Yeah, was there no news here? This is moving on momentum. Folks, ACHR moving on momentum. Technically speaking, if we break Friday's intraday high, this probably goes through 7 again. Don't see anything fresh here. This probably just continued momentum from last week, folks. Looking good, though. Looking good. How about skills? Actually, you know what? For a potential trade, skills maybe through 850 here. Skills, good volume here. What board authorized a $65 million share buyback, so that's good news.
Skills. Oh my!
I have a
God.
putting mat. I have a putting mat from them, and limited flight practice balls. They're sweet.
Is that the right skills?
Yeah, it's the same one.
All right. I just want to make sure.
I did a double take too. When I saw them on Prime Day, actually, it was a Prime Day sale. I was like, "Is this the same one?" Yeah, sure enough.
You sure? Because I think this is the gaming company.
Pretty sure. Mobile game development. Oh no, maybe it's SKLZ.
I got you,
you're right.
Ryan. No worries. I know what you're talking about.
You're right. This is different.
I don't think what you're talking about is public. That's the thing.
Yeah, SKLZ.
I think it's a private company. So one thing about skills is that I've been talking about this since the very beginning. This was the company that came out and said that they were going to have an NFL game. And then it took forever for them to get that NFL game out. But yeah, I know what you were talking about.
This
Ryan.
is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so I screwed that up. Well,
no, I mean you didn't screw it up. Look at the brand name and look at the ticker. You would think that would match.
Yeah. No. Okay.
No,
well,
and I hear you. Those products are pretty good, Ryan.
I'll be honest.
They're cheaper.
They're decent. The limited flight practice balls double as cat toys. That little pro tip there. Little pro tip there. Buddy chases them when I practice chipping inside. It's actually rather entertaining. And they don't break anything. They don't break anything. Top that move through threes holding here. Let's see if we flag and move higher here on top. Stup still has some really good momentum here. Ryan, you should go and hang out with the big wigs on the golf course. Sydney, if I had an in to do that, I would absolutely be doing that. 100%. I would be doing that. By the way, GNS right back to that 141 spot and through, sized at 142, and they just took all of it. Watch 145 on GNS, folks. That was I'm surprised they took that. All right,
guys. Just took a little bit there of AMD here. We've got to be careful, but just grabbed a little bit there below the 107. So I got 107.03 on that pullback. So not the best fill, but I'm willing to just kind of keep an add towards 106.75 in my pocket here. So I'm watching AMD, guys, to see if I get that bounce. All right, guys, in a little bit here at 10 o'clock, I'll talk a little bit about our new sponsorship. You guys see it right above us, Trade the Pool. We'll definitely be talking about it. And I think that everyone, one thing that I'd say is you guys see it in the top right corner. There's 14-day free trial, and you guys can check it out for yourself. And I think that that's very important that they give you the free trial so you guys can see what you're getting into. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up, but let's keep trading. Let's see if I can make a nice little trade here on AMD.
Right. GNS brought a bidder in at 143, and they're attacking the block at 144. Be interesting to see what happens at 145. They went right through it, folks. 150 coming up here on GNS. We'll see if they pop that size here at 148. That's stopping it currently. SS trades, I know you're in there. When you close that trade, will you give me the stats on that trade, please? That was a nice one, and that was community generated. I love it.
Love it. Love it. Trying to let this candle close here at the 945 candle because, of course, sometimes we have 945 reversals. So I think we can get an NVIDIA pullback here. If NVIDIA pulls back, then, yeah, I could get a little bit of a lower entrance and add to AMD. But if it takes off here, I could also add on the rip. So I'm looking at both of them right now and trying to kind of use the pairs action. And, of course, you could even pairs trade this with NVIDIA and AMD. We'll see what happens there.
150 up on GNS that first time. They actually hit that block there, couldn't take it. We'll see if it's stronger the second time through there. 150, definitely your spot here on GNS. I'll just say this ahead of time, just in case Mitch is in the middle of a trade or an explanation. If we pop through 150, I'm closing my trade. I'll wait and set up for another trade or perhaps more as GNS sets up. But I'm going to take my money here, put it in my pocket. Like Mitch said, I'm in the office. I got to make sure I can go out and get some lunch with the team. So got to keep that money in my pocket instead of giving it back to the market.
All right, there's a nice little pullback. AMD's trying to get back above 107 already, though. That looks good there, at least. Back above 107 on AMD now. Here's that slight tick below it.
GNS back to 150 and they're hitting it. That was a huge volume candle right here too. There they go, and through on GNS. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Taking the trade off there. Awesome. Above 150. It should test 175, says Wiz. If you're still in it, those are your next spots. I'm going to wait for this to set up again. Take the money off. Let's go. We're having a good morning on a Monday. Maybe I might need to come in on Sunday more often, Mitch, because if it's going to change the luck of the trading here, I mean, let's go. 157, your high print on GNS. This strong. Volume looks real good here on GNS, folks.
All right, guys, I'm thinking about adding. I'm going to add here on AMD. Now I got here 106.97s. So now I'm going to look for this to get back up towards 107.50s and take out that high. Let's see if we can get it now. So I got the next candle to close 9 EMA to go off of, and last 5-minute low to risk off of. And so you guys can see my risk. And now I'm looking for this to go above and make that little drive. There's the 107.20s. Let's see if we can take out the 107.70s, can sell majority of it in the 60s, and then look for the rip. So you guys see how I'm going about it. And I could also put the Qs on the right-hand side here. I want to see the Qs do like a little VWAP bounce. If not go below the VWAP and just take off to the upside here.
Yeah, Jay
Nvidia
Wild
taking off is going to help.
Jay Wild saying, nice trade, Ryan, and SS Slam. Bang. Thank you, Mom. Yep. I mean, look, when you get them this quick, just take them and move on. You know, there's no sense in waiting for this to pull back. If these guys set up again, we'll be able to trade them again. Also, for you penny players here, SXTC, this really having good trading action here. We popped a little bit out of the open, came right back in, held that low level, and we've pretty much just been moving up here. So I'm not trading any of these penny plays, but for all of you trading the pennies, SXTC seems to be the best one today. Jay Wild was mentioning earlier XPEV here, this new highs. XPEV remaining strong off the back of that Bank of America upgrade.
Money in the bank, baby. Just got my first profit there on AMD. That's what I'm talking about. Nice little push towards the 107.60s. Got up there to the 64s. Took some out in the 50s. Now I'm going to let it try to break out. If not, break even on the rest. 106.97. So 107 pretty much. And then just let it move. If it moves and continues to ride with the market, then we can continue just riding the market's momentum now. I did the hard work now. Now it's time to let the stocks do the work.
And see, Mitch, that's where I went wrong on PanW. I did the hard work of getting the entry. I didn't have a whole lot. I just wanted to, stick with the plan of taking money when you're in profit. But really, the stock was doing the work, right? PanW kept pushing up. In fact, where is it now? Let's see. Well, it did pull back a little bit here. So maybe if we flag around the VWAP, there'll be another trade here on PanW. We'll see.
All right. We'll see what happens there on the rest of this AMD position. I would like to see a nice little push towards like 108 here. Could take another like 30% or 50% off. There's a nice little push higher. Can I get it above towards the 108 here? In the 90s, I'm going to take some off here. Got to order out there into the 90s. Let's see if we can get a nice little spike. Now we're above the highs, so now I'm looking for this to hold here on a 5-minute basis. It can pull back to that line, but I really would like it to open the next candle or hold on the close above 107.44 area. Let's see if this can continue to climb AMD and the tech trade. What I like about this is it seems like a very simple trade for me, like just going off of Nvidia's like momentum. And so it doesn't make it hard for me to like look this morning, what should I be trading? No, I don't need to ask, right?
Watching. Okay, got filled on a little bit of Pan W again here. So I'm going to see. Let me flip over to my screen here. We're talking about playing the winners here. So what I'm going to see is, can Pan W break out of this little flag here and make a move back towards the highs? Would love to see 243.50 get printed. We'll cut it if it drops below. Let's see the bottom of this candle. 240.70 will be the cut spot. Yep. That's what we'll do. We'll see if this can trade higher here. I think that this probably goes higher. Given the strength here, probably moves higher. We shall see. Watch out, guys. DXY is screaming. CCJ, 3-year high here. You were swinging that, Jay, right? You gave us entry on that, I feel like, a while ago. And you're saying Pfizer, September 1st, 37.50 calls being bought here. I actually missed that on the option scanner. Yep. There they are. You said the 36.50s, right? $37.50s. I see the 36.50s here, but they're definitely getting bought. Same expiry, I think. Expiration. No, these are the ones that expired this week. Okay, gotcha. Those are the ones I found.
All right,
Palo
getting that
Alto
pullback on AMD. Just wanted to tell you guys that it's holding the trend line, so I'm going to give it that trend line VWAP bounce, which is 107.08. Coming to you, Ryan.
Nope. I was just saying, just kind of watching Pan W. I was just going to kind of give you play-by-play action. Nothing new there, though.
You're good, my friend.
I was going to say, watch the drug makers. Watch
the drug makers.
Pfizer, Moderna.
Take a look here.
J&J, just because over the weekend, Reuters reported that the Biden administration is going to be pushing and issuing a new round for booster shots. We recently found out that Moderna is coming up with a new booster. Pfizer is going to be coming up with a new booster to fight this new variant. And so just watch, all the drug makers, Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, BioNTech, all the ones that we have been watching, the COVID winners that they generated a lot of revenue. Going to see if they get any more deals with the United States to see if the U.S. buys different and how many shots of Moderna, how many COVID shots of Pfizer, and to see where J&J and how it does globally, just because the U.S. is in a very different situation than Europe and China for COVID. We know that China is dealing with a lot of issues COVID-wise regarding the stimulus that we've been talking about. So, GDP.
You ain't wrong, my friend. I'll just tell you that. I don't want to interrupt you, but you ain't wrong. Look to the right-hand side, guys. BNTX.
Yeah.
Moderna.
So we're going to have to watch China, see what they do heading into the winter. China has been cracking down on journalists, economists, saying that they don't want to report the negatives. They want the positive sides. And that's just not how news works. So sorry,
cracking
China.
down on people being honest. GG no re.
Sorry, China. That's just not how news works.
Yep,
You got to report both sides of the story.
Good game.
Are we toughen up?
Pan W, by the way, breaking out of this formation. What I really want to see is that a move towards the previous high. We're good now. Second trade now back in the green here. Moving up, looking good. Really want this to go towards 243.50. That would be ideal.
All right, I do want to let you guys know I got stopped out on the swing trade on Deere, and this is one that I thought I had it right, guys. And sometimes you think you got it right, and sometimes you got it wrong. One thing that will always tell me, it will be the P&L. That will tell you if you're right or wrong, right? And so
Yes,
wrong
sir.
on this one, guys, and we'll see. If it gets the bounce, maybe it does get the bounce. I can always get back in it. One thing I can't do is get washed out in a name like Deere. So I'm out of it. 391 got me out on that little move here, back towards like 391.05. Might have gotten stop hunted, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm out of it, guys. Took a hit there on that swing.
Pan W pulled off that little pop, so we're going to see if it's what it can make on this formation here. I'm good holding it. right now. Really glad that I was able to build up some profit from the first trade. That makes holding the same size position a little bit easier on the second trade. I got my plan here. If we really break out of this sideways formation to the downside like we're trying to do right now, we'll close it. If we break back up, we'll take the gains and move on.
Smash the like out there, guys. We'll see what else is going on, and we're enjoying the trading action today. Let's take a look here at Soxel to the right-hand side. I talked about this trade early on, and as soon as I started seeing Nvidia and AMD strong, you're seeing Soxel take that next leg up. So Jay Wild, definitely to the 21. It goes. There it goes. Mr. Del Soto says, I'm still in, dear. Yeah, and it's okay. Maybe I just opened myself up too much. But one of my things is I try to always keep what? My losses around the same, my wins around the same, right? Because if I can do that, I do what? I keep mathematical probability. I got to that point where the pain was too much there, De Soto. So if the pain's too much and it's the average loss, get the hell out. That's what I do.
So Palo Alto breaking down here to the VWAP. If this does not recover and try to bounce off the VWAP, I'm going to be forced to cut this second trade here at a small paper cut loss, folks. Keep you posted. It looks like we are trying to bounce, though. Part of me wants to add a little. Should we get wild?
We'll see what happens. Q's staying strong, and then AMD now starting to hold that 107.44 on the pullback. So I'm just riding the gains in AMD right now. If it does come back to VWAP, it'll probably end up getting me out here, but it looks like it wants to get going. Let's see if it can really make the move. I'm just going to look for Nvidia to take out the 454. If it can take out the 454 and not come back to VWAP, yeah, that thing's moving today. Deers have antlers, man. I know, man. I know. Thanks, Kaylee. You saw some price targets out there for deer going down. I mean, it is how it goes sometimes. We'll see if industrials get back into the light. Industrials are just break even right now. So it doesn't mean that it can't recover on the day. Technology leading the way here, guys. I will tell you guys that. Energy actually going in the red, so you're getting some oil pullback today. But technology leading, of course, is good for the market. As you see that lead, you can see the market continue to rise. Consumer cyclicals are starting to get the lift today. Of course, those have a tendency of going with the market because they usually have a lot of high beta names. You're seeing home improvement stores down today, but an area where I do see some strength is auto manufacturing. So if you guys are playing those names and you're seeing some lift, of course, the leader like Tesla taking lead today up there to 227 as it keeps bouncing off the 214. And look at the RSI on that Tesla. Guys, this is why I use historical reference all the time, man. You guys see me use it all the time. How much days was it off? It was off by 1 or 2 days on the extreme. This is why I don't use it to entry, but I use it to look for the turn. And it gave me the indication that the turn was coming. What time frame do you look at the VWAP? I like 5 minutes. You can use the 1 minute if you really are like kind of that type of trader. But I like the 5 minute.
I like 1 and 5. I like both of them. Mitch, when you say that type of trader, I'm definitely the degenerate that falls into that bucket that you're describing. Okay. But honestly, 1 and 5 are both really good for the VWAP. So I use it on both of them. Just understand that when you're looking at that 1 minute chart, that VWAP, it's gonna be a little bit different. Real quick, PanW bouncing here. So we're back into the green on this second trade here. See if PanW can move back up here.
It's pretty. It's pretty.
Want to see it keep going.
Yeah, now you don't want it back to VWAP. At least in my eyes, I wouldn't want to even back down to 240 at this point.
Now that we went red, we're not going to go red again. We're going to keep waiting for this.
That's how it is sometimes. And I think that that's a good outlook because the truth is with the free commission world, you can always get out.
That's my thing, Mitch. I can always get back in if I make the mistake. So Becca's saying it's starting to rain in Phoenix. Okay. That's all I had to do was jinx it. It seems.
There you go. Ryan Faloona for you.
Yep. Just jinxing it up. Here we go, PanW. Here we go. Let's get one more push up. We'll close this trade. Did add a little bit on the way back down.
Archer's still going. On the helicopter takeoff, man. That Pan W looking interesting. We'll see if it keeps holding. Canceling my sell order for AMD that I had out there, and now just focusing on doing what? Just focusing on keeping my money, right? That I've already made, so I can set my stop and just be ready if it needs to get me out. Let you guys know if I do get out. That's below the 107 mark.
Closing Pan W right here. Not going to let that come back in. Nice little morning. We're just scalping here. Not a whole lot, but
hey, take what you can get.
Built up a couple $100 here with some smaller scalps. I'll take that. I'll tell you what, it's actually keeping me green in the face of this Nvidia face rip. Obviously being short, losing money on that, but completely engulfed by the other profits that I've made. So I feel good. So we're just kind of chilling and waiting. Good stuff on Pan W right there. Good stuff on Pan W. Rained like crazy in Sedona last night, says Kim. Mrs. living in Scottsdale. Yeah, I'm trying to plan another Scottsdale golf trip for early next year. Gonna have to go bug Jay Rice, though. Apparently, I set him off by not visiting him the last time that I was there. We're not going to do that again.
Be careful.
We're going to go have dinner with Jay.
You don't want Jay mad at you.
No, sir. I don't want anyone mad at me. That's just how I go, Mitch. I don't want anyone mad. I like when everyone's happy. I feed off other people's positive energy, so I try to do the same for them.
Good. Then Ryan's going to be. Ryan's hosting a hug fest. Perfect.
No, you and your hug line, man. You've already thrown me under the bus once here, Nick. We don't need to do that again.
Hug fest. Ryan, when are you hosting it? Oh, I'll start booking flights.
Nick just wants a hug. Hey, man, you got to get your 7 hugs a day. Keeps depression away.
Well, okay. So let's talk about that real quick. So I flew in yesterday, but I didn't go to the office because it was Sunday. So I showed up this morning. The first thing that happened when I showed up at the office today was I collected 2 hugs.
There you go.
Luke and Patrick were available right away. So I'm +2 early. And then when James, my teammate, came in, I got a 3rd. So I'm rolling 3 and it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
This is what I want you to do, Ryan. I want to get you on a Benzinga short. So I need you to record your hugs. And then we're going to put it on a short.
Yes,
and then we'll do that annoying little TikTok sound like ding, ding, ding.
You guys, you guys.
Come on, man. Mental health.
Come on.
Mental health.
No,
Come
we'll
on.
see.
All right, guys, looking for AMD to hold this trend line. So a lot of times I expand this, looking for it to get back up there.
Becca's not going to let this go away. Big bear hugs. I'm going to try and change. First of all, I'm going to try and change the subject. Lynn and Randy, always looking out. Portillo's in Scottsdale. Everyone go. Jay
it probably would be because I'm not that tall and Ryan's tall. So.
Yeah, I'm 6.5 feet tall, man. I'm tall. Jay's saying, Ryan, that kid in the USM finals had hair like you back in the day. Bro, okay, so he had good hair is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or Kaylee, order filled noise for every hug. Oh my God. That's so good. Yo, TradeStation has a really good order filled. How dare you not bring those Chicago wins to Michigan? Look, I tried to bring everything to Michigan, Jesse. It's just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pan W, by the way, going for that 243. It's going for that high again. I think I piked that trade twice here today.
Yeah, just maybe to kind of leave a little runner, baby.
Hey, but you know what, though? Again, plan was to just take gains quick. I haven't made a losing day trade yet today. So they're not huge, but I'm profitable. So I'm ready for lunch already.
This is the big thing, right? Look at the Qs today, right? And look how they're taking off. That's going to help a lot of tech names. Let's just be honest. And even names that are probably hurt, like let's say Upstart. Like I don't think it's going to go, great today, but it's still in the green, right? And I think that's where you got to be a little bit careful. My bear is out there because we know how we can get short real quickly. We'll see what happens on the market, but if the Qs can continue to climb, look for those tech names to keep pushing. And remember what I've talked about on Apple, how this could start coming back, and they do have eventually their iPhones coming out, and that could push it right back. So I think this is definitely one that we can start looking for pullbacks towards 50% retracement of the recent move. 173.50, that area I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for. If it does come back there, I'll take a swing. We'll see what happens.
Pan W going higher here. That trade was money.
PNW, baby.
Pan W. See, this is the thing. When you have those catalysts that are really solid on really good companies, this is the type of move that you get. And on top of that, we're actually getting cooperation from the broader market. So definitely should have thought about that while trading this. But again, just stuck to my plan. That's really all it came down to.
Let's go AMD. Looking for this to really get the spike here above and get going here through the 60s, through the 70s, into the 90s, into the 108. Let's go. Let's get it up there. Then I'll be able to start taking some more off. Now I can just hold off of kind of this pullback action around the 107.30s and just make sure that I can move up my stop and keep making money. Let's see if this can really start moving here.
I was going to say, to my eye, Mitch, that AMD sure looks like that wants to push higher, especially you had that little trend line break. It's holding above it. I know you got those little top wicks, but it sure looks like that wants to go. Real quick, James, I'm not 6'6", I'm 6'4". So I don't mean to give myself an extra 2 inches there.
Giant.
I mean, Mitch, how tall are you? Are you over 6 foot?
Yeah. I'm 6'11".
Yeah, his name's not Tommy Cotter.
There's Ryan, 6'4", and then here's me, 5'9".
I think
you want to know how tall I am?
I think Tommy is 6'5". I think he's got me beat, but I don't know if he's got me beat on his hugging ability. So keep that.
I'll tell you right now, 5'9"3/4. You know you're short when you include the 3/4.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't feel bad then. I'm like 5'8", 5'9"-ish.
Right.
There would be a hug. Mitch and I.
Include the 3/4. You know what the deal is. All right, guys, here's the pullback where we're not going to let it break that VWAP. It's on the 107.17 VWAP. So I'm moving my stop up a little bit here above the 107. So closer towards like 107.5. No matter what, I'll still take a gain on this. Just not going to let myself lose no matter what. So just let the trade work here. We'll see if it takes another leg higher. The Qs and Nvidia is just up there to 454 and continuing to hold. We'll see if this can keep pushing. Microsoft's a good stock also to look for that reversal action, and that's really getting moved right back up. So that looks good today as it gets back there. I want to see if it can reclaim the 9 EMA, which is 321.40s. If we can reclaim that, we can actually start getting out of the downtrend. I always talk about the 9 EMA being important on the daily. Keep your eyes on that.
One more possible setup here from a stock from the list that we talked about. We talked about TIRX here at the open, or excuse me, prior to the open. Right before the market opened, this thing was really kind of leaking. The interesting note is that we really kind of held in. So we sold off right out of the open. We held that low, and we seem to be pushing back up. We're actually riding above the middle channel of the Bollinger Band. This might have a close back to the VWAP. So maybe 12 cents from here. I'm not in this. I'm not playing this one, but a potential setup. At least watch this one, especially if the volume starts to expand. I know there was a whole bunch of you trading Archer. Archer continuing to put in new highs here. That $7 level looks to get tested again. Looks like it was buttoned up against that. I tell you what, if this hits 7, this is likely going to move through 7. So keep this on your watch list as well.
Any reasoning for the oil pullback? Well, let me just take a little peek at WTI. And what do you see today? Rejection of 82.50s. And so one of the things that I've been talking about on oil just needs to stay in the 80s. Stay in the 80s for me means that we can continue higher. 70s is where it gets a little bit weary. So back to 79 on WTI, I would be careful. If we can get back towards 84, 85, oh yeah, you're looking golden in oil. So oil prices going down. Always keep your eye, if you're trading oil names, on the futures. What can you look at? You can look at crude front month, or you can look at WTI. I look at WTI just because that's just the one that I use. But hey, you guys can take a look at it. And you don't even need the most up-to-date data on it. I don't have up-to-date data on it right now. But as long as I can take a look at the day's range right now, 82.47 by 81.07, that tells me that, yeah, we're coming down a little bit. We made a little spike to 82.50s, rejected that move. And we would love to see it get back there. if you're an oil trader to the upside.
So real quickly here on Archer, I see Lynn and Randy saying that their last out is going to be 780. One thing to keep in mind here, first of all, I like that you're selling on resistance after being in much lower. I think that's smart trading. But the other thing to keep in mind here, depending on your position size and what your trade plan is, this is a breakout level. So if you keep a trailer on and you break above 780, maybe then trade that, get that last piece that you have against the 780 stop just to ensure that you don't go red. Archer looks really, really strong here. I know it's pulling back off that 7 level right now. Wouldn't be surprised if this is not out of the woods yet. 13 from our chat here has been watching this one too. He's been all over this. I expect to look at Archer all week as long as this continues.
Might get out an AMD here, guys. It's slightly, boom, out AMD, guys. Just took the slight little gain there. Didn't get through that lift off, and it could just take off now. But I wasn't going to get through to a situation where I could get caught in AMD. And that's a big red bar for me. So that tells me what? Just be careful there. Doesn't mean that it's completely broken here. Trend, completely broken trend is taking out this low. But of course, I'm not going to stay there off of that low. That's the 106.16. We'll see if that gets taken out. That's where the trend breaks on the intraday move. We'll see what happens there. And in the chat, Marshall giving me a little thanks for talking about the non-EMA. Of course, you took that trade if you nailed it, Marshall. So that's what it's all about. So if you were able to get that bounce, hey, power to you. And that's what I'm always here for, is just to give you guys the insight on how you can maybe use these indicators. And then from there, you guys take a look and see it for yourself, right? That's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to look at charts and look for it. Then you guys can come here like Marshall, and then you can give me thanks, and I'll be like, yeah, that's what I want, because that shows me that you guys are looking for it, and then seeing if the knowledge meets what actually is happening on the charts, because that's what matters. Because if it doesn't and you can't use it, then it's worthless, and just toss it to the trash, right? And we are leaking a little bit. Good catch, Jay.
I'm going to try some Archer here for a day trade. We'll see. Really, what I'm playing for here is a break of 7 to the upside. Gonna really kind of have a tight stop. We'll go back to the conversation we had earlier. If it starts to go against me, just take the paper cut and rebuy it, since I'm able to do that. But what I'm looking for here, we kind of dipped off that attempt at 7. I'd like this to try to bounce back up and attempt that 7 again. We'll see. If it breaks down, it might go to the VWAP, so I'd cut it short of that. I have the VWAP here at 674.
Nice mention there in the chat on X, mentioned in the chat. Chris Theodore giving me a little shout out for, I think it was also the 9EMA mention, but he's seeing a push in USDOX. Of course, that one has some rumors out there that it could be a buyout acquisition coming in for X. They had some, of course, unsolicited offers. We'll say it. Cleveland Cliff mentioned last week, right? We'll see what happens to these steel stocks if they want to get the lift, but X did just get a recent spike and it came right back down. I wanted to hold 31.25 because if it takes that out, then it could just been a bull trap. But if it could come back and take out 32.50 today, it's going to be looking pretty strong.
Lynn, we'd love to have you here on a regular basis. Good to hear that you may be able to show up here more often. Our beginning and ending hours are always going to be, Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong here, about 9:10 to 9:15 in terms of starting. That's Eastern time. Yeah. And then we stop at 11. Sometimes we stop at 10:30. I know Mitch set a like goal last week that we were unable to meet. Mitch, we're going to be on top of that. Again, the best way you can support us is likes. It doesn't cost you guys anything. So if we set a like goal, we really want to get that hit. We're actually using that data to petition to keep the show going. Mitch is also doing it with sponsorships, obviously. So we, generally speaking, we stop around 11, sometimes 10:30, 10:45, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right, guys? Is we do this absolutely for free. We're not here to charge you guys. Of course, we will do some partnerships, and we'll talk a little bit about our partnership today. But what it's really all about is trying to give back to you guys. That's what Ryan and I do this for.
Yes, sir.
We want to, of course, show you guys Benzinga Pro, also, of course, our platform, and we'll show you other platforms. Like always, we're going to bring tools that we think that could really benefit you guys. As always, you guys know how I work. I'm always transparent, trying to give you guys the honest truths about trading, whether that be sometimes the hard truths or sometimes, you know, the good stuff. But hey, like always, we're going to try to give it to you straight, and that's what we're here for. So if you guys enjoy that outlook, just hit the like. Let's see if we can even just hit 250 today as we continue going forward and building skills. Hit share button for those traders that are learning. If you know anybody that wants to maybe get into the financial space, I think this is a really good place, a really good learning environment. You guys don't hear people yelling at each other in the chat. That's not what we're here for. We're all here to support each other. We all want success. So let's keep pushing forward.
Yeah. And really quickly was, Mitch briefly mentioned Benzinga Pro there. It's funny because Mitch talks with these different sponsors, and one of the things he talks about is that, my guy over here, he uses Benzinga Pro. He ain't going to stop using that. You might see it in our sponsorship, but you're never going to see me stop using it. And one of the big things about it is that, I know I talk about it a lot. I know I share it on the screen. By the way, Archer moving back up towards that 7. We'll see if we break it here. I know I talk about it a lot, but it really was impactful for me. It really kind of changed the way I approach things, how I look at things, how I prepare for the day. And then ultimately that had an effect on my P&L over time. So I'm not going to sit here and promise you that, hey, if you become a Benzinga Pro subscriber, you're going to make more money. Ultimately, it's going to come down to how you trade. But what I will say is that the tools that we are providing here are tailored to help you cut out noise and focus on what you're good at. We offer a free 2-week trial that doesn't even require a credit card. Mitch has the description, or has a link for that in the description below. If you're ever just watching me do this and you think, I'll give it a try, you can try it with nothing down. So just see if it has the same type of impact on you that it had on me. That makes me even happier.
Love it. And I love to hear comments like Bag saying that, sometimes I don't watch the show, but I can just have it in the background, and that's more than enough. And one thing that I try to do a lot, and I think Ryan and I both try to do, is not try to get too emotional on like reactions to moves, because we're always going to try to keep you even keel. It's up to you to have your emotions whichever way. We're not here to kind of control your emotions. We're here to just tell you what we see. And
Archer
like always,
7.
You guys
Archer
tell
7,
us what you see.
They're hitting the block on Archer at 7. They're unable to take it. A lot of stock traded up there. If this falls, this should go higher, folks, on Archer. ACHR.
Love it. And that's a Kathy Wood favorite now. So stay tuned for that, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but I'm going to take that as a positive right now.
That just means that, who knows if she's still buying more, right? And that can just itself help you.
This was the 7th attempt to take out 7. We're moving right back up there. Let's see. They have traded 635,000 shares of stock at 7 alone. Here we are, 7 up. More prints coming at 7. I mean, we get one volume pop. This thing's there. It goes and through. Here we go on Archer, moving up. All right, folks. More green trades today. That's what I want to see. 13 out here blessing us with the Archer move. Out Archer here. We're going to take the gains. This might go higher, but I'm taking gains today, folks.
That's what I love to hear, baby. Take them gains. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking around here. I see some teammates here. We're going out to lunch today, baby. We're going out to lunch today. For sure.
There you go. Getting that butter chicken today.
Oh, someone asked me earlier, no update on Faloona. And I'm not sure that I'm going to have Indian while I'm here in Detroit. I promise you I will get that. But the Indian restaurant that's near me that I order from often doesn't have it. I'll let you know when I have it. I promise.
Sounds good to
promise.
me.
Maybe I need to fly into Detroit. Maybe I need to come to the office for one day tomorrow since it's my last show, and then Ryan will give me a hug. There we go. There's a good
I'll say this, Nick. If you show up this week for any length of time, I will give you a hug for sure. It'll be a bro man. It'll be a bro hug. We got this.
Yes.
No
Maybe we have to do it on the show, 9 to 11.
Oh man. See, now you're just trying to sell tickets to something.
Hit the like
Lynn
button.
and Randy, how is Kava doing here today? Kava, of course, reported their first earnings print last week. Are they holding up here? They're a little bit lower from that earnings, but they're not cracking and selling off. So we'll see here on Kava. I still have to go try their food.
Yeah, I actually have one nearby. I need to try it too. So
yeah, I really want to try.
I'll tell you one thing though. I didn't see lines out the door.
Okay. Remember the Peter Lynch. If there's a line, buy it. If there isn't, sell it.
Hey, that's how I think about it when I first watched Chipotle. I mean, and Chipotle, as some call it.
They call it something else, actually. I'm not going to repeat it, but puddle is part of the word. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
I love Chipotle.
hey.
I've never
All
had
right.
Yeah.
Chipotle. There's one being built near me. I may
So-
have to try it.
So actually, let's talk about this. Marty's actually bringing up a really good point. Marty says people don't need to wait in lines anymore. Order ahead. Why wait? Okay, so a couple of things here, Marty. So first of all, I agree with the overall premise of this. I'll say this. I've seen this more and more. In fact, the Chipotle by me has a couple of spaces in the parking lot with signs in front of them that are called burrito loading zones. And they are reserved for people that did exactly what you're talking about, where they order ahead on the app and then they come in to pick it up. And they have a really good system there where these people, if they've prepaid, don't actually have to wait in line, so it doesn't slow down the regular line there. I've not done this yet. I guess I'm just a boomer and I'm old fashioned and I go in there and I order and then I pay. But I wonder how much of an effect this is actually happening on lines or having on lines. That would be something to figure out. I always
is
notice the
definitely
line at
something.
Chipotle. It seems, I bet if you're in a city, this makes a huge difference, especially with the Uber and DoorDash people that are picking up the delivery.
So like something in
Yeah,
New York,
but
that would be quick for New York.
I hate the pickup line at Chipotle.
Do you have a
It's-
kava near you, Mitch or Ryan?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Did you
I looked
try
it
it
up.
yet?
It's not really my type of food though. I'm not really big into Mediterranean, but
Oh, see, I'm so big on it, dude. I love Mediterranean
Do you
food.
want to ship me some? I can eat it right here live on live trading. If you ship it to
that
me.
I don't know if it's gonna be that tasty. I don't know if Cabo would be happy that we sent you it in the mail, but we could work something out. All right, I could put it in a little cooler or something, and you can warm it up.
I'll try kava food. Never had it.
All right, we'll see what else is going on out there, guys. Definitely taking a look at the market. We're getting a pullback here, and I think it's definitely one to keep an eye out for. We'll see if we can actually get the bounce, right? And so in a second, we'll see if we do get the bounce. But be careful out there. I do see the pullback happening. Just wanted to put it on alert, right? All right, now, guys, I do want to tell you guys a little bit about what we are getting into here. And we're going to take a second here to talk a little bit about our new partnership. And you guys smash the like out there. And I just want to tell you guys, we'll do really quickly. I'll play a little video to tell you guys a little bit about it. Of course, we're going to go into trade the pool. This means that, yes, Ryan Faloona and myself will be going after it into the prop account action. So stay tuned for that. We'll be starting up with that account tomorrow. We'll be going after it, taking a lot more trades on here. And I think that that's actually going to help, right? You guys will be able to see our process, keep going after it. And if you guys want to check out, of course, Trade the Pool, you guys are more than welcome to. Finally, of course, a stock trading prop firm that trades more than 12,000 stocks and ETFs, right? You can use ETFs, including some penny stocks. It's not going to have them all. We'll try to keep trading them. Trust me.
Well, here's the thing, Mitch. I think because you told me about that before, and the more I thought about it, the more I think if they don't have the penny stocks that we're used to, I'll probably focus my main account on the same scalping strategy that we're looking at. And since they have ETFs, we'll start trying to play the daily volatility of the market via some of those ETFs, and we might be able to develop like patterns and strategies for both. So it's going to be a learning experience for me, but I'm encouraged. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do it and show you guys it. Of course, we'll be putting the platforms. You guys will see everything that happens and keep you guys along the way. Just like we did the small account challenge, I will do my absolute best to show you guys how we can get to success and how you guys can learn from our action, right? That's what we're here for. Now to give you guys a quick little video to show you guys exactly what it's about. And we'll continue kind of showing you guys what the different packages and things that are to offer from, of course, Trade the Pool. All right, check out this short little video and we'll be right back, guys.
The number one rule in trading stock is don't risk your money. The second rule in trading stock is have enough capital to trade freely. Introducing Trade the Pool. Trade our funds in your own unique way. Here's how it works. Step number 1, show you can trade and prove your profitability. Step number 2, get funded. Trade the pool and keep up to 80% of the profits. Step number 3, stay consistent and get access to unlimited buying power. It's as simple as that. Sound good? But wait, we got more. When you join Trade the Pool, you get a free user for the best tools in the market. Trade ideas, Trend Spider, Bookmap, Trader Syncs, and more. We have been here for a while now, from 2016, when we built our first brand called the Fivers, a well-known and respected prop firm for indices and FX trading. But enough about us, let's talk about you. Are you ready to be a stock star? Start trading now.
All right, guys, and definitely check out Trade the Pool, guys. I'm going to throw up a little QR code if you guys just want to hit that QR code, of course. Like they say, we fund stock traders, so you guys can check it out and get 14 days free trial just to take a look at it, right? You don't have to put any money into this. Go ahead and take a look at it, guys. All right, let's get back to the trading action. What are you seeing out in the market, Ryan? Are we still coming down? It seems like we're coming down pretty hard here.
Yeah, we are. SPY pounding lows, Apple pounding lows. This is good for my Nvidia short as that's starting to come back in from the gap up this morning. So I'm not pissed about any of this, frankly. But what's great about this is that while Nvidia was trading up, I'm out here scalping some of these smaller stocks to kind of keep myself afloat. So I'm not worried about that loss. Well, now that Nvidia is coming back in and I've booked all those gains, now that loss is not as much, and I'm starting to move even more into the green here. So not pissed about that at all. Remember, I'm expecting volatility this week. And with earnings coming up here, Mitch, your guess is as good as mine. 13 was telling us as early as last week or as late as last week. What would it be? 13 was telling us that this might run into earnings. Bull flag on NVIDIA's chart might run into earnings. We've seen NVIDIA carry a lot of the market just in general, seems to be doing that again. We'll see where this ends up settling. Everything's still kind of pulling here, Mitch. Maybe SPY's bouncing right here. But I got a 5-minute chart, so maybe this is the start of the bounce.
All right, Jan in the chat asking me a good question about how big the prop account is and stuff like that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, of course, as we get after it. But I did want to just mention that it is the super buying power package. So if you want to take a look at that, that's what we're going to be getting into. And of course, like always, we'll speak more about this as we go along. Let's take a look at the cues here.
May I jump in here real quick, Mitch, before we take a look at the cues?
Yeah.
I just want to shout out Zoltan. I don't know if Zoltan is in the chat here. Zoltan, of course, works on our news desk here. Extremely bright, extremely hard worker here at Benzinga. One of the things that Zoltan was recently responsible for was a dive here on EYPT. And I don't know how many of you ended up taking this. We did talk about it on this show a couple of times. There was a research report that I put out with Zoltan's research that EYPT was a buy. We talked about that, buying it in a 7 handle. I think my price was $7.90. We added this a couple of times. The reason that I'm bringing it up here is because we are approaching 15 here today. The thesis here was that when Regeneron's eye treatment did not receive FDA approval, the only competitor out there was EyePoint, and it looked like things were going good. Again, this was in the high 7s. When we talked about that potential trade, it looks like we're knocking on the door here of 15. So pretty decent resistance point here. If we break through 15, this could even trade up some more. Huge shout out to Zoltan. I'm still holding half of my position. I took half of it off at about 11. So I made about three points and change. So letting the rest of it ride here. Been really good. Zoltan absolutely deserves a shout out for finding this one. I wouldn't have been in this without him. I know I mentioned it on Happy Hour. I actually received a call from a gentleman who said, "Hey, were you the guy that put out that research report on EYPT?" I was all nervous. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just want to thank you. I bought thousands of shares and calls, and I'm banking." I'm like, "All right, awesome." So Zoltan, awesome job here. This one's still going. I am still long EYPT. Again, I'm up almost 100% on my entry. So don't go buying this because I'm talking it now. You'd be chasing here. I'm trying to give credit where credit is due. This was an excellent piece of research by Zoltan. All right, Mitch, you want to talk about the SPY? I just had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, my friend. I'll take a look at it right now. Let's go to the cues. Let's take a look to see if we can finally get that bounce. So a lot of times later in the day, what do I want to do? I want to move further in the time frame. So I want to go to the hourly chart now and see if we find hourly support coming into play, right? If you see here, this is where a lot of times they wash out the day traders and still bring it back. So I'll be watching to see if the cues break 359.75. That on the downside, yeah, I could watch for more downside coming into the market. But if it can hold that level there and then bounce back up through the 361, this could just be a bounce, guys. This should just be that kind of washout move where it washes out a lot of traders and then makes a move back up. So right now I'm not leaning towards any way, I could take some trades here, but I'd definitely be guessing to the action. I want to just go ahead and kind of watch the action and see what happens. Because if Nvidia bounces here, goes right back through 456, yeah, I'll be looking for the Qs to do the same and just get right back up there. So just looking at hourly moves to see if those can hold. So go into Microsoft. Let's take a look at this hourly. So you see how the hourly comes back towards support, but then it doesn't really kind of break this pre-market action. It could easily just hold that and get right back up. That's how they wash you out a lot of the times on the hourlies. I'm always looking for that type of move too.
I was going to say, watch yields. They're moving once again. 10-year near highest since a few minutes ago, November of 2007. It broke above 4.35%. You know, this is going to be one catalyst to watch as we head into this year, into year end, even into Friday for Powell, because his speech is going to be closely monitored. Last year, it was, I think, about 8 minutes. Really didn't say much, and he kind of sent the market down, I believe. So we're going to have to watch what he says, because bond yields are our main driver. If yields continue to rise like the 10-year is doing, stocks are going to be under pressure. But if we see a reversal maybe mid-afternoon, the 10-year starts to back off, that's going to give SPY and S&P and the major averages some room to run. So just watch his speech and watch what bond yields do. This is a new catalyst. I don't say new, but this is now topping traders' minds, is watching 10-year and watching 30-year and just watching the yields in general.
I can tell you guys right now, I'm just thinking swing on FAZ seems to make sense for me. And so I might start taking a shot on that. Even though I'm late to the party here, I'm looking for any pullback to start getting an FAZ. I'm seeing way too much banking concern and no one even talking about it. That's usually when the real concern comes for me. And I think that that's the important thing. I always look for the news to sometimes miss stuff. Why? Because I feel like the bigger money is positioning itself first, and then they come out and talk about it on the media head. So right now, just look at it as simply as the daily charts. Look at these banks. Look at this. This is not good, guys. KRE coming down, right? Bank of America, right back into that danger zone, back to where we were. PACW, that everyone thought, for a little while there was going to disappear. It's back down to where it was from. That WAL that loves to make a little bit of a move up, this could be right back down. Goldman Sachs, still coming down here. JPM, pretty weak there. I don't like this at the financial services at all. If anything, I'd be looking to short, but I'm way too late to short now. It's just more of a way of how could I play this momentum? So that's maybe FAZ, right? I was thinking about playing it back then here, and this is already taken off, but I can at least say right now, hey, the financials are what worries me, that this leak and this and the Qs could keep leaking, because if we're going to really go into more regional bank concerns, that's how you ruin this bubble.
Real quick here. Yeah, no, I'm with you on the banks. And actually, we had a gentleman from the happy hour who's still short the KRE. I agree with you, Mitch. You might be chasing if you were to buy it now. One thing I want to cover here real quick. This is a stock that I was not aware of. Shout out here to John Bone. I can't put up his. Oh, there we go. Can you please take a look at Wrecker? This is Recourse Systems. Yeah, John, I absolutely can. I did take a look at it while Mitch was going here. I like this. Let me explain why I like this. First of all, it absolutely looks like we've come up off the bottom here. We have a nice little formation here on the daily chart. It sure looks like it's trying to test this 350 level and break. If we flip to the you know what? Let me go back to the 15-minute. It erased my lines here, but this is basically what we're looking for. 350 right here, definitely a spot. Maybe another one here at 342. So call that resistance area 342 to 350. This looks like it's got the strength to break out here. Now, you might be asking, well, what does this company do? Flip over to the overview tab here of Benzinga Pro. Again, one of the reasons why I love this tool so much. Wrecker Systems is a United States-based company. Awesome. It is engaged in providing real-time roadway intelligence through AI-driven decisions. Okay, so right away here, this actually has safety infrastructure rolled into its AI package. I'd probably have to look into this a little bit more just to see if I could actually swing this. But really, really like this call here from John. Think that this might actually be able to break through that 350. Now, one of the things I'd really like to see are some elevated or expanded volume. But you can see, even with what we've had, as the volume starts to expand, the price really starts to move. So, John, really like this one. I add this one to my watch list for sure. SPGC, that's that golf company. Is that moving?
Q's trying to come back here. We'll see if they start making that move or not. I think this is just an important level to just kind of keep an eye out for. And it might take till 11 to really see that move, but that's why I'm trying to take it easy right now.
Real quick, Marty asking a really good question here. I will address this, and then Mitch, I'll have you clean it up because I'm not sure what your designations are. Marty's asking, Benzinga, are you guys CMTs or have you any other designations or certs? Okay, one thing here. So first of all, I don't believe any of us here have our Series 7 license, so none of us are going to be able to tell you what to do with your money. What we're talking about here is for educational and entertainment purposes. Now, furthermore, I have none of the certs that you're asking about. I am just like you in the sense that I am self-taught with my trading experience. I grew up, if you will, and learned through FinViz and YouTube. Really kind of adapted my skills. Once I got Benzinga Pro, things kind of changed for me. Then once I was able to work here, I took an active role in developing the tool that I use every day. So I don't have those. I look at myself as the regular guy. My co-host here, Mitch, though, I believe is studying to get his CMT. I don't want to speak too much of it because I don't know where he's at, but he is looking to add that cert.
Yeah, I'm in the process, guys. And it's not about talking about what level I'm in it right now because that's what CMTs actually tell you not to do, right? So I'm just going to tell you guys that I'm in the process. Once I actually get the designation, I'll let you guys know, of course, and kind of keep pushing. You know, they're big association, just like, let's say, the CFA. And so, you know, I want to be on their side, not
their good side.
Yeah, they're a good side,
you want to be
right?
on their good side, yeah.
Yeah, it's an association I pay for. Am I a part of the association? Yes. And I'm looking to try to go to their event next year. They have an event every year in April. It's usually in New York City. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can check that out. And if you guys want to learn more about CMTs, you guys can always reach out to me on Twitter. I can tell you guys a little bit more about it. I can introduce you to CMTs. And that's another thing. What I like about it is because, Ryan, you know me. I'm always trying to make connections with really great, like especially chartists that know stuff and that I can learn from. I really love to learn from other kind of people that really have this up their belt, right? Up their tool belt, like whether they're Fibonacci guys or maybe they use pivots, whatever it may be. I always like to try to get some little tidbit from each trader. Yeah. Everybody can learn from that.
Yeah, so that I try to do that too, CMT or otherwise. I always try to learn from other traders.
Yeah, especially in one of the things that it does is it just shows you that they're willing to go through the time, right? It's not easy to get the CMT. I'll tell you guys that. It's not easy. It's not like it's an easy thing to go through. And if you think it's easy, then damn, give me a call, man, because we can get through it together, bro. But yeah, we'll get there, guys. And just wait. Once I get that CMT, I'm sure I'll have a couple of other things up my tool belt. And I think that's what's important to me. And I think that I always try to not only learn technicals. You guys hear me talk about it. I like 4 different variables really to learn from. Story, fundamentals, technicals, and then, of course, I include one more thing now. I used to say it's only 3 things, but there's one more thing that's a major factor you always got to include. That's just the market environment, the current environment.
Yeah.
And so that's the last variable that I would add there. And so those 4 variables, I want to be very good at understanding, whatever that may be. And when I have things that, like, let's say, all align, that means just conviction, right? If you have 4 variables that are telling you green light, that's when I can say I have conviction in a trade. Why? Because I actually have things to go off of, right? It's not like I'm just like, oh, I feel like this stock's going to go up. Unfortunately, feelings don't work all the time.
Mitch, if you could throw up a chart of X.
Yeah,
there's some talk regarding what could be happening with X. Remember, United Stills Corp. Someone says if I got anything in the trap. There's an unconfirmed chatter that MT, ticker MT, which is company, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
That's
company Arcalor Middle, I believe.
Yeah, it's a hard one to say, man. No worries.
Yeah, they're making a $42 offer. This is via Betaville, something I haven't heard of. This is another company. So just watch X. Remember, these bids continue to go up. Who will acquire or who will buy X is still unheard of, but we do know Cleveland Cliffs. The board and people at X are talking about that they want Cleveland Cliffs, and even Cleveland Cliffs CEO says that they think they're going to be able to get it. So just watch X. Unconfirmed chatter that MT made a $42 offer.
Talked about this before, right? And I think that a lot of people are playing that. They almost expect something to happen in this space, whether it be for X or another one that I would watch for is even Cleveland Cliffs get spot out. Who knows, really? We don't have an answer. But we talked about it on pre-market prep. Also, we talked about, I just went through the high cap names and I said, which are the big boys that could probably be a buyer here? So you got Nucor, you got this PXX, Post-Co Holdings. I have no idea about this one. The next one that I looked at was MT. And this is just going by market cap, right? And then you got Steel Dynamics. I don't think Steel Dynamics is going to come in here and take it, but those could be seeing the lift. And MT is going down here. And that tells you something, right? When X is going up and MT is going up, yeah, some arbitrage is being played there. We'll see if it goes higher. My biggest important thing is X is really going to take off here, it's going to take that 32.47 spot. So we'll see what happens there on X today.
Mitch, real quick, I do have to jump here a little bit early as I've got something on the back of this. Great to be back here. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. So you folks have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right, Ryan's hopping. It's always good to see you, my friend. Enjoy your time in Detroit. You'll be back tomorrow. Like always, smash the like, guys. We're going to keep going here and bring you guys over to the Trader Bacon Show. That's coming up next at 11 a.m. Nick is on his last week, at least.
Last week. I think two more shows.
One more show, unfortunately. So we're going to have to, just play some little sad music as we get Nick out of here. But hey, he'll still be around, and you guys can always keep up with him on Twitter. If you guys don't have him already, my man, a good follow.
I didn't tell you this, but come to think of it, I will be actually joining the show Thursday because we have NVIDIA earnings. I will just be joining the show, talk NVIDIA, and then I'm going to head out. But NVIDIA earnings, we're going to talk AI. I'll be counting AI. Dennis Dick, pre-market prep person, co-host, he sent me a list of AI stocks or companies that are going to be reporting this week. And he wants me to count AI, so I will be making sure to count AI. I believe Zoom is on there, NVIDIA. Let me see what else we got, because there's a lot of other ones, Mitch. I don't know if AI is the new talk of the town. Snow, we have Marvell this week. So I will be having a busy week, even though I'm transitioning to back to school and being part-time. I still have some stuff that I need to get cleared up this week. I got to get AI counts out. I got to get NVIDIA earnings on the show Thursday morning. So you will see me one tomorrow for the full show, out Wednesday, and then Thursday just to talk NVIDIA earnings one final time. But I'm not saying goodbye. You'll see me here and there.
Archer, baby, through 716. That's going to be definitely one to keep an eye out. Buzz to infinity and beyond. All right, guys, I will tell you guys that there's a little bit of a trade that I just took there, guys. I went back into AMD, but now for the swing. So lowering my size, lowering the risk, and I can go for more of the swing approach. So the size is like, let's say about 1/5 of what I traded in the before trade. But why am I taking this? Because I'm starting to see NVIDIA go right back up. I'm starting to see the Qs kind of align on the hourly. So I'd like to see NVIDIA go through 456. That could probably get AMD right back up there through that 107.50. So I'm going to take a shot here. 50-cent risk here for the first sell up past that 107.50s, going to 108. So what am I going to get there? $1.50 on the risk and reward. What do I always think about? 3-1. Do you see how that just quickly went in line? That's my most important thing all the time with my trading. As long as I can stick with my mathematical probability, I can keep doing this day in and day out and just keep playing the game, baby. That's what it's about as a trader. So we'll see if this gets back up there. And I'd like to see the Qs get back above 361 and hold. Start going back to 362. I'd like to see Microsoft make an up move here. That's another stock that I'm keeping an eye out for. And we'll see if some other stocks keep pushing. But doesn't look too bad out there in the markets today. Pan W, another one. Look how it came back to the VWAP. Bounced right back up there towards the highs. So it seems like the tech trade is staying strong right now. We'll see if SOXL can get that bounce and go right back through 21s here. And technology is in the green. right? So it's that and healthcare are the only ones in the green right now from the open. But if technology can stay there, maybe it can just keep the Qs rotating all day and just keep pushing. We'll see what happens. Financials were definitely dragging, energy dragging a little bit, industrials. Like I mentioned, only 2 sectors in the green.
I was going to say, Mitch, U.S. Treasury 30-year yield hits its highest level since April of 2011.
Yeah, look at this TLT chart. This is scary looking, man. We're heading down.
It's continuing to plunge.
Yeah, the plunger, man. And the rule of 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. What ends up usually happening? A 4th attempt, and if we can't go, things come back to support. I see it all the time on the charts, guys, and I draw it out for a reason. Some people think I'm crazy for the rule of 3, man, but I think even Nick's seen it enough, man. How many times have you seen it, man? Look at
many of times. I don't chart myself, but when I do look at charts and I do put on the different moving averages and I try to connect some lines together, I can see the rule of 3 and even do like going out, the rule of 4, the rule of 5, seeing how many times it attempts to break above that line, break below that line. What does it mean? Next, TLT, this is a good chart because Mitch has his lines, and these lines are what a lot of people would draw themselves. The rule of 3 just isn't working here. Look, it's continuing to move lower. If it breaks below that red line, that big red line, then I think it has more downside to go. But we've seen a lot of lines, Mitch, that when it gets down to a good support, it sometimes does bounce back. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. But in this case, it may bounce back. It all depends where yields go. If yields continue to move higher, then TLT continues to move lower.
Yeah, what I would have wanted to see is like what you saw here on the TLT, where you got the nice volume pop on the drop, right? Why? Because that could show institutional buying, right? And this is the daily chart. You can use the rule of 3, the way that I look at it, on any time frame. Any time frame. 1, 5, daily, weekly, monthly. It doesn't matter to me. It's not on just any one. And this is just something that I saw, guys. And I want you guys to keep looking for it. Show me examples. Send it to me. Be like, Mitch, the rule of 3 worked on this one. Send it to me on Twitter, even if it doesn't work. I'm not going to be mad at you. I want to look into this, right? That's what it's all about. Finding edge, guys. And sometimes you're not going to know if it's 100% true. Just look it up, right? Like, take everything I say
with a grain of salt.
Salt, baby. You know it, Nick. You know it.
Mitch, the charts really do tell a story, because I don't know if you see over the weekend, Helene Meisler, she's a writer with The Street. Every Saturday, or mostly every Saturday, she does Chart Fest. And so this week's theme basically was, are these lines going to be able to hold? Are we going to see bounce back once they touch these lines? It really all depends what industry, what sector you're in, how the other stocks are doing in your sector. Yeah. You have to pick out the ones. You just can't pick out these ones that may bounce back. You kind of have to look at the broader sector overall and the broader sector ETFs to see if the rule of 3 applies there. I mean, take a look at QQQ. It's, moving along. AMD saying here, it's these lines mean something in the long run, and even in the short run, is if they touch these support lines, will they bounce back? A lot of the times they do. And then there's that chance, what happens if it breaks below? If it breaks below, then there's more downside to come. But you always want that support, because that support means it's going to be able to hold up. And that's going to be good in the short term and even better in the long term. Now, I'm no charting expert. That's just my analysis and what I do for myself. I mean, I can't sit here and chart like you. I'm not a chart master. But I can point out a few different things on charts.
Not yet, Nick. Never say never, baby. Never say never. All right, guys. Who put on this class? Please post the link. Oh yeah, man. Hey, what can I say, man? We know some good stuff, and I think that you're learning, Nick, and that's what it's all about, man. Maybe some.
You got to come to live trading. You got to come to live trading. You got to pay attention. You got to take notes and basically do this on the off run. I mean, over the weekend, I'm sitting here looking at Nvidia charts, Apple charts. Yeah. When I'm sitting outside still, but I'm still trying to learn on myself. I just can't rely on Mitch and Ryan 24/7 saying, hey, Mitch, what do you think about this chart? You kind of have to
Yeah.
go on it on your own and experience it for yourself. Apple, that's a stock that everybody owns and is a storyteller right now. I mean, you have to kind of just look at the charts themselves, and you have to know, like, you have to apply the knowledge you already know, and then you have to experience it. You have to go out on limbs and try out different tools that maybe different charts do. Like, I use stock charts. It's a great website and it offers so many different packages and so many different valuables and the lines that you can offer. I try to keep my charts with a few lines, so I always put on the 50-day, the 200-day, and then I kind of draw lines myself to see where Apple is now, maybe where it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, even before COVID. And I mean, oil players, they have significantly run up. So oil is kind of like an outlier here, Mitch. I don't know if you would agree with that. Because oil, you literally, if you look at the chart, it literally just shoots straight up. And that's something that you don't typically see in a market. I mean, Nvidia, that would be a perfect example. It has literally gone straight up.
It has. And that's one thing that we'll be watching for. Of course, they come out with earnings later in the week. We'll find out what happens for Nvidia then. It's 10:55. We're going to start wrapping up here. But that's one thing that I think that you've gotten a good access to is a little bit of learning here. And I think I'd have conversations with Nick before the market opens. And a lot of those conversations are not necessarily about technicals, not necessarily about fundamentals, more about the psychology of trading. And I think that's one thing that Nick has been able to see more and more by tuning in here to live trading, right? And what you guys can really learn from it too. I talk about this all the time. Sometimes it's just a psychological move versus what is actually showing itself, right? Like, that's why I thought maybe we could get a potentially bounce on Friday, right? Is because it was just so psychologically on that fear side, on that bearish side, that it goes and hurts the other traders. The market always has a tendency of hurting where it can hurt the most. And you got to be thinking about that intraday and daily and weekly wise, right? And it's not just one time frame. Always knowing your time frame is going to help you out, because a lot of traders, they just don't understand this. What are you trying to catch? Are you trying to catch intraday momentum? Are you trying to catch intraday swings? Are you trying to swing trade momentum? Or are you trying to invest, right? There's whole different ways of playing things, and this makes a big importance on how you're going about it. Is it a short term, medium term, or a long term trade? It's going to depend a lot on what's going on in the market. We'll see what happens if Nvidia can continue to climb, going to 456. Maybe the market can continue holding. The market is just holding on by a thread here, though, as I am starting to see more and more going to the red. Healthcare just slightly green right now, could go red any moment, and technology is only up 0.3. So let's see if technology can keep lifting. But if Microsoft goes red, I'd be careful, because Microsoft was looking pretty strong earlier. And if this goes red, that's where I'd be a little bit careful. That's a move back down through that 317 area. Opening price on Microsoft going to be very important, 317.19. If you break that, you could be right back into the red.
I mean, Mitch, and even charting, you could even try with anything. Like, if you take a look at maybe CPI over a 3-year basis, you can even draw lines on that chart and try and make a prediction on where CPI may go. And if it goes to that levels, you look back at the stock market, see where it was during those levels, and you have to try and connect the dots. And it's something that maybe I'm not familiar with, but you kind of just have to apply your knowledge that you already know, and you have to go out on a limb and try different things. You kind of just have to pull up a chart, put maybe the 50-day, 200-day moving average if it's a stock, draw some lines, look at the comparison to see where the stock was now, where it is now. I know past performance is no guarantee of future results, but we do see a pattern, and patterns continue to happen and develop over time.
That's what it's all about, especially if you're not a chartist, like we say. Just keep it simple, right? And then we'll see what happens. Yeah. You know, that KISS acronym, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. I'll add that last part, but we'll see what happens. Like always, guys, keep coming after it. Microsoft trying to recover the VWAP. Keep your eyes on the Qs. Let's see if we get another tech push. That could keep us higher. But if tech goes, then everything's in the red. And then, yeah, we would go right back down. So be careful out there, traders. Catch up with me on Start Swing Trade later today. Did get stopped out at that AMD position. So the only swings still on are WFG and AAL, of course, American Airlines. WFG getting a nice little lift today. So I'll keep watch to see what happens in lumber. Stay tuned to learn more, of course, about Trade the Pool. You guys can always check it out. I'll throw up the link one more time. And like always, go ahead and check it out, team. We'll see you next time right here on Live Trading. Thank you for joining me, Nick Brown, and we'll have another good time right here, guys. So hit the like on the way out. And now, of course, to bring you guys to the Trader Bacon Show.